Hello and welcome to Fast and Factual. I'm Utsaf Parekh and here are the top stories of the day. We begin with updates from the Israel-Hamas war. Israeli forces have said that they have discovered the biggest Hamas tunnel in Gaza. They have released a video showing an unusually large concrete and iron-girded tunnel. An Israeli military spokesperson said the tunnel was 4 kilometers long. Israel says the tunnel was designed to carry carloads of militants from Gaza to the border with Israel. Family members held a funeral for a hostage who was mistakenly killed by the Israeli army. Last week, Israeli forces had said that they had unintentionally killed 3 Israelis during their operation in Gaza. Later, the IDF added that the hostages had raised a white flag and were shirtless when they were shot. Israel says this is against their rules of engagement. The Israeli military chief has told troops in Gaza not to repeat that mistake. At least 5 Palestinians were killed in an Israeli attack on Tulkarm in the occupied West Bank yesterday. This is according to the Palestinian Health Ministry. Another Palestinian has also died from injuries sustained in an attack in the West Bank city of Jenin a few days ago. The Israeli military says it has been stepping up operations against Palestinian militant groups in the West Bank. U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin is visiting West Asian nations for the second time since the Israel-Hamas war broke out. He arrived in Bahrain last night. This followed a stop in Kuwait to offer condolences for the death of Emir Sheikh Nawaf Al Ahmed Al Sabah. Austin will also visit Israel and Qatar during his trip. In Israel, he aims to speak with officials regarding the next phase of their operations in Gaza. Yemen's Houthi forces claim that they have launched cross-border drone attacks on several Israeli targets over the weekend. However, the US and UK say that naval vessels shot down multiple drones over the Red Sea. According to the US Central Command, they downed 14 attack drones fired by the Houthi forces. No casualties nor damage to ships have been reported. UK Defense Secretary Grant Shapps also said that they had destroyed a suspected attack drone. In other international news, a landmark national security trial for Hong Kong media mogul Jimmy Lai began today. His trial comes more than 3 years after his arrest and is expected to last for at least 80 days. Lai is accused of colluding with foreign forces as well as conspiracy to print and distribute seditious publications. If convicted, he faces a term of life imprisonment. Lai was a pro-democracy activist and one of the Chinese government's most outspoken critics. Japan says North Korea fired an intercontinental ballistic missile this morning. Tokyo added that the missile is capable of reaching anywhere in the United States. North Korea had also fired a short-range ballistic missile last night. Meanwhile, Russian rocket forces have loaded a new intercontinental ballistic missile into a silo in Moscow. This is according to the country's defense ministry. It added that the missile is capable of delivering multiple attacks to different targets. The Russian defense ministry has released a clip of the giant missile being transported to the silo. About 1,500 people took to the streets in the Spanish capital Madrid yesterday. They were protesting against plans by the regional government of Madrid to curtail LGBTQ+ rights. The government seeks to require trans minors to undergo medical and psychological tests. Madrid's government could impose these new rules as soon as this Friday. The presidential race is heating up in the U.S. Former U.S. President and Republican presidential hopeful Donald Trump has said that he plans the largest deportation in American history if re-elected in 2024. Meanwhile, another Republican presidential hopeful, Vivek Ramaswamy, has pledged to pardon all the quote-unquote peaceful protesters who took part in the 2021 US Capitol riot. Polls suggest that Ramaswamy has the support of 4% of the Republican primary voters. Meanwhile, Trump is in the lead with around 63% of the support. A car collided with a vehicle near President Joe Biden's motorcade in the state of Delaware yesterday. Biden and First Lady Jill Biden had just left his campaign headquarters when the collision occurred. However, both of them are now safe. A dozen people were killed in an attack at a holiday party in central Mexico. Locals said they heard gunshots and saw injured people running on the street. The attack took place at dawn when an armed group opened fire on the partygoers. In Chile, voters have rejected a new conservative constitution. It was aimed at replacing the country's current constitution that dates back to Chile's dictatorship era. An attempt to change it last September had failed as well. President Gabriel Boric has said that his government won't make a third attempt to change the constitution. The process to write a new constitution for Chile began after street protests in 2019. In climate news, rainfall in Australia's Queensland region is causing widespread flooding. This is due to Cyclone Jasper hitting that region. Jasper has now been downgraded to a tropical low, but it brought months' worth of rain in a few hours. Authorities expect it will be the Queensland region's worst ever flood. Thousands of people have been evacuated while many are still stranded. The tourist towns near the Great Barrier Reef have been isolated due to the severe flooding. At least 13 people were killed due to severe thunderstorms along Argentina's Atlantic coast. The affected area in the Argentine province of Buenos Aires experienced destructive winds. Authorities have advised people to stay indoors due to the hazardous situation. The U.S. state of Florida faced a heavy storm over the weekend. It brought rainfall and strong winds to Florida's coastal areas. The storm then moved up the U.S. East Coast, battering several regions of South Carolina. Authorities have rescued dozens of people stranded by the floodwaters. Over 25,000 people were also left without power across North Carolina and Virginia. The southern Indian state of Tamil Nadu is also battling severe rainfall. This has led to flash floods and landslides in various regions of the state. Several areas recorded over 600 millimeters of rainfall in the past 24 hours. Over 250 emergency response personnel have been deployed in the state. The Indian Meteorological Department has issued a heavy rain alert for Tamil Nadu for the next 7 days. Heavy snowfall has disrupted traffic in multiple provinces in China. Regions in the south and east were blanketed in over 50 centimeters of snow. Temperatures across China are expected to remain low throughout the week. Chinese President Xi Jinping has called for an all-out emergency response to the cold wave. A report says Canada is expected to announce regulations this week mandating that all new cars be zero emitters by 2035. This will be the country's move to align with global efforts towards electrification. According to reports, the target is for zero-emission vehicles to represent 20% of new car sales in Canada by 2026. A new report has found that firms have been cutting back on corporate air travel. A survey of 217 companies showed that almost half of them had cut business travel emissions by at least 50%. This is between 2019 and 2022. However, some companies like Boston Scientific and Marriott International have bucked the trend. They reported an increase in business emissions by as much as 69% over the last few years. On to business and tech news. Financial firm Goldman Sachs has said that central banks from India to Australia are likely to begin reducing interest rates earlier than anticipated. This is in response to a faster easing cycle from the Federal Reserve. Analysts expect India to cut its rates in the third quarter. They had previously anticipated India to loosen its policies at the end of 2024. Citigroup plans to set up a wholly owned securities business in China, the move is reportedly being delayed. It will take longer than expected because the bank needs more time to comply with the country's data laws. It is now looking to start the China securities business around the end of 2024. Earlier, Citigroup had internally estimated the license to be in place in mid-2023. A number of Chinese semiconductor design companies are reportedly tapping Malaysian firms to assemble a portion of their high-end chips. China's move comes as it seeks to hedge its options in case the US expands sanctions on China's chip industry. Semiconductor company ARM has reportedly laid off over 70 software engineers in China. However, it is planning to relocate some of the roles outside of the Asian nation. About 15 of the staff whose positions were being eliminated will be offered different roles. The jobs being terminated are currently filled by contract software engineers. The eliminations come as the semiconductor industry faces a downturn due to lackluster demand for electronics. Billionaire Elon Musk believes that oil and gas should not be demonized. Speaking at an event, Musk said, and I quote, "Climate change alarm is exaggerated in the short term." He said that it is important to reduce carbon emissions to preserve the planet. However, Musk added that the environmental movement may have gone too far. American labor union Teamsters has overwhelmingly voted to authorize a strike at beverage maker AB InBev. They will carry out strikes at 12 U.S. breweries. That is, if a new contract isn't secured by the time the current agreement expires. The current agreement expires at the end of February next year. The union is calling for higher wages, better health, retirement benefits, and job protections for its 5,000 AB InBev workers. The U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission has denied a petition by crypto exchange Coinbase Global. Coinbase is seeking new rules from the agency for the digital asset sector. The SEC said it would not propose new rules because it did not agree with Coinbase's argument that the current regulations are unworkable. Coinbase has filed a petition for review of the SEC's decision in court. More Chinese agencies and state-backed companies have reportedly asked their staff not to bring Apple iPhones and other foreign devices to work. In the past few months, firms have asked employees to start carrying local brands. In September, staff in at least 3 Chinese ministries and government bodies were reportedly told not to use iPhones at work. Meanwhile, Apple has agreed to pay out $25 million. This is to settle a class action lawsuit over its family sharing feature. The feature lets users and 5 of their family members share access to apps, music, or movies that they purchase. However, a lawsuit accused Apple of misrepresenting the ability to use its family sharing on apps that did not support the feature. Activision Blizzard will pay roughly $50 million to settle a 2021 lawsuit. The lawsuit accused the video game maker of discriminating against women employees. This included routinely underpaying female employees, failing to offer them promotions, and condoning sexual harassment. Now to the world of sport. We begin with the latest from the English Premier League. Arsenal sees top position in the league with a 2-0 win against Brighton. Gabriel Jesus and Kai Havertz struck in the second half at the Emirates Stadium, putting on a dominant display and taking the Gunners to pole position. The Seagulls, who were looking for a third successive league victory at the Emirates, drop to 9th place. Manchester United prevented Liverpool from moving to the top of the table by holding them to a goalless draw at Anfield. Liverpool's failure to break down United's defence cost them the top spot. United have had a terrible season. They came into the match with 12 defeats in their 24 games. Mohamed Kudus scored a double to get West Ham back on track in the Premier League. West Ham bagged a 3-0 victory over Wolves at the London Stadium. The Ghanaian attacker put the Hammers firmly in control at the break, and in the second half, Jarrod Bowen made the points safe in the 74th minute with his 10th Premier League goal of the season. The Aston Villa-Brentford thriller ended with a win for the Villains. Lewis Potter opened the scoring for the hosts at the end of the first half. The game changed dramatically after a red card for Bees defender Ben Mee in the 71st minute for diving in and catching Leon Bailey on the ankle. Villa capitalised on the player advantage 6 minutes later, and Watkins headed in a 85th minute winner. FIFA has announced details regarding a new format for the Club World Cup, saying the first edition will take place in 2025 and feature European heavyweights Real Madrid and Manchester City. The tournament will take place from June 15th to July 13th in the United States and bring together 32 teams. On to cricket now. India beat South Africa in the first match of the 3-match ODI series in Johannesburg. Pacers Arshdeep Singh and Avesh Khan set up a convincing 8-wicket win. Left armer Arshdeep took 5 for 37 and Avesh claimed 4 for 27 as South Africa crashed to a 116 all out. Sai Sudarshan and KL Rahul hit half centuries. Australian off-spinner Nathan Lyon becomes the 8th bowler to reach 500 Test wickets as the Aussies claimed a 360-run win against Pakistan in the series opener at Perth Stadium. After declaring at 2:33 for 5 post-lunch on day 4 to set for 50, the Aussies ripped through Pakistan for 89 to take the lead 1-0 in the 3-match series. Bangladesh thrashed the UAE by 195 at the Dubai International Cricket Stadium to claim their maiden Under-19 Asia Cup title. After putting up 283 on the board, Bangladesh bundled out the UAE for just 87 runs. Ashikur Rahman Shibli hit a stunning 129-run knock for Bangladesh. The Boston Celtics improved their perfect NBA home record to 14-0 as they pulled away for a 114-97 victory over the Orlando Magic. Jaylen Brown keyed a fourth-quarter surge, scoring 17 of his 31 points in the final period, helping the Celtics push their lead to as many as 23 points. Former Formula One world champion Jenson Button says his old teammate Lewis Hamilton needs the right car to return to the front of the grid next season, as Red Bull remain favourites again to clean up in 2024 for the second year running. Mercedes driver Hamilton failed to win at a Grand Prix as Verstappen won 19 out of the 22 races, with Red Bull teammate Sergio Perez taking 2 of the other 3. In entertainment news, South Korean singer Jungkook has become the first K-pop soloist to surpass 4 billion streams on Spotify. At 26, he holds the title of the fastest K-pop solo artist to achieve this milestone. Jungkook's debut solo album Golden alone has over 2 billion streams on Spotify. Meanwhile, South Korean girl band Blackpink has made history by securing the title of the highest-grossing concert by a vocal group. According to reports, the group has earned over $11 million during their sold-out performance at Las Vegas. The members of the group, Lisa, Jennie, Jisoo and Rose, continue to dominate the K-pop scene. Singer Demi Lovato and independent musician Jordan Jutes Lutz are engaged. The singer took to Instagram to announce her excitement about getting married. According to reports, their engagement ceremony happened in Los Angeles. The couple made their relationship public in August last year. They reportedly first crossed paths while collaborating on their 2022 album. Singer Taylor Swift made Sunday's Kansas City Chiefs football game a family affair. The singer brought her father to support her boyfriend Travis Kelce at the game in the U.S. state of Massachusetts. The father-daughter duo joined their friends in a VIP suite. Swift sported a grey Chiefs sweatshirt as well. Fantasy musical film Wonka, starring Timothée Chalamet, had a delightful box office debut, earning $39 million over the weekend. Despite its $125 million budget, the film's promising start bodes well for its performance. Wonka tells the origin story of Willy Wonka, a character in the 1964 novel Charlie and the Chocolate Factory by Roald Dahl. Actor Fantasia Barrino revealed on social media that she and her family experienced racial profiling. This allegedly happened during their stay at an Airbnb property booked for her son's birthday. The Color Purple star wrote, despite complying with rules, they were allegedly asked to leave at midnight. The host accused them of having a disruptive party earlier in the day. Barrino feels that the treatment was due to racial profiling. Director Zack Snyder expressed a desire to cast American basketball player LeBron James for the Rebel Moon franchise. He said this at a Rebel Moon Part 1 premiere. Snyder acknowledged his idea's potential for the space opera series as the narrative develops. He considered it a possibility for the future of the franchise. Actor Taylor Lautner, who portrayed Jacob Black in the Twilight series, revealed in a podcast that the original plan was to recast his character after the first film. The team initially intended to cast a mid-20s actor for the subsequent movies. Lautner, who was 16 when cast, had to fight to retain his role, ultimately continuing as Jacob throughout the franchise. 50 Shades of Grey actor Jamie Dornan shared an amusing anecdote on a talk show about his TV series New Worlds. The actor, allergic to horses, kissed one on the set of the series, which caused his lips to swell. Due to his condition, the crew couldn't shoot for the day. Dornan said despite him liking the horse, his allergy led to a regrettable incident. Actor Jack Axelrod passed away at the age of 93. His agent confirmed the news of his passing owing to natural causes. Axelrod is known for his roles in shows like General Hospital and Grey's Anatomy. That's all for this episode of Fast and Factual. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned to Firstpost.